Tonight on the CBS3 News at 6, a fire during last night's winter blizzard displaced 3 Duluth families. We hear from some of the residents that lost their home. Plus, on a road to 0 deaths, that's the goal of Minnesota's newly established Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women Task Force. And many Northlanders spent the Christmas Eve shoveling out some snow, but others had the chance to have some fun.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening. I'm John Cardinelli. Thanks for joining us. Kristen is off for the holidays. 3 families are left without a home and many of their belongings after a fire broke out in Duluth's Lincoln Park neighborhood Wednesday night. When crews arrived at the scene on 28th Avenue West, they saw fire and heavy smoke coming from the home. No one was hurt, and the cause of the fire is under investigation. Tonight, we're hearing from some of the residents who lost their home just 2 days before Christmas. CBS3's Kendall Jarbo shares why they're just thankful they were at the right place at the right time.
When fire strikes, you don't expect it to happen twice.
Nah, you don't think something like that's gonna happen. You know, it doesn't, you know.
Again.
Yeah, again. So it didn't register to me.
James Dakota has experienced his home catching fire before. He wasn't expecting it to happen again, right before Christmas.
I ran to the door and opened up the basement door, and a big old plume of smoke, black smoke, just came at me, and I said, "We're on fire, we're on fire."
It's a statement Forrest Simon couldn't believe.
I heard fire, and I was like, we're not on fire. We're not on fire, what? And then I look up, and he opens that door, all that smoke comes out, and then that initial blast came out, and then you could just see red.
4 fire crews responded to the scene, but it wasn't enough to save the building.
As good of an effort as the firefighters did last night, and they worked extremely hard under extreme conditions. We can't get them all, and we're just thankful that none of our firefighters were injured and all the residents got out safely.
Everyone made it out, thanks to Dakota and Simon, quickly warning the other residents and calling for help.
I'm just glad we were at where we were at when it happened, because as quick as that place went up, it was unbelievable. It was crazy.
Officials say fire crews didn't have a problem getting to the building with the snow, but high winds made it difficult to put out the fire. They consider the building to be a total loss. The Red Cross is helping the families involved in the fire. Wisconsin's National Guard is flying again after pausing when one of its F-16 pilots died in a crash. The crash happened earlier this month in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Captain Durwood Hawk Jones of the Madison-based 115th Fighter Wing died when his F-16 went down during training. The 115th spokesperson says she can't share any more details about the ongoing investigation into what caused the crash. And some grim news, COVID-19 has played a role in nearly 80 more deaths across Minnesota. The state's overall death toll now stands at more than 4,900. There were also nearly 1,600 new cases confirmed today. Minnesota is approaching a total of 400,000 cases and over 21,000 hospitalizations since the pandemic began in March. These cold temperatures can take their toll quickly, and Duluth firefighters say the risk of frostbite and hypothermia are very real in this weather. If you feel numb, have discoloration, or you're shivering uncontrollably, you should get inside as fast as possible. Firefighters say it's also important to keep your pets safe.
Making sure that they're being taken care of, that they're being kept inside. You're not leaving them in a vehicle out in the cold. And if you are out walking your dog or you have your pet outside, that you're aware of how cold it is and that you're not leaving them outside too long, and be monitoring for things like shivering and any other signs that the animal might need to come in and get warmed up.
And if you do have to travel, you should make sure your car has a kit with food, water, blankets, and more in case you do get stranded. We're going to check in with Dave Anderson now. Speaking of those cold temperatures, it's pretty cold out there right now, isn't it?
Yeah, actual air temperatures are set to go below 0 again tonight, especially on the Minnesota side of the border. And with a clearing sky and the wind still going pretty well, there's a wind chill advisory to talk about for a couple of towns. To the map we go, where it says wind chill advisory will be in effect tonight overnight for the tip of the Minnesota Arrowhead, including Lake County and Cook County. And the blizzard from yesterday is still a snowstorm farther to the east, and its tail end is keeping a winter storm warning going for the snow belt of the South Shore until midnight. Most of the heavy snow is done, but it's whipping around because of the wind, and so that's why the warning is to be cautious while you're traveling. Road conditions are not great out there. We take a look at them now, and roads are reported as snow-covered and still slippery once you get towards the Bayfield Peninsula and towards the Upper Peninsula. Slowly improving, though, in Minnesota, which is a good thing. Our forecast for Friday says hopefully things will improve even more as we get a clear to partly cloudy sky. A morning start near 10 below for a lot of towns, but we will finish around 17 above. So the cold snap will be a short-lived one, and we'll go back to normal for a couple of days. We'll talk about how long that means in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Dave. And here's a live look now toward Bentleyville, and it's hard to tell where it exactly is since the lights are off again tonight. The holiday light display shut down last night because of the blizzard, which also caused some major damage. Tonight, it's those very cold temperatures to blame. But earlier today, a group of volunteers embraced the weather to help Bentleyville get back on its feet. Nathan Bentley, Bentleyville's executive director, knew he needed the community's help, so he put out a call on social media. With their boots and shovels, volunteers started digging out the display. Bentley says without their help, they would not be opening back up for Christmas.
All the barricades that frame the pathway that all the public drives through had all collapsed in with the high winds that are down here.
More than 30 people came out to help today, and as we mentioned, Bentley is crossing his fingers that he'll be back open tomorrow night. The day after a blizzard is generally a busy one, as you just saw, and either you have to do a bit of work or you have some time to get out in the snow and play. CBS 3's Alex Libby caught up with those on both sides of the spectrum.
Thursday felt like deja vu for many in the Twin Ports. While this year's holiday blizzard was certainly one to remember, some say 2019's Thanksgiving weekend storm packed a much bigger punch.
I think that one was a little bit worse. Quite a bit, actually. This one was just, I don't know, it seemed like mostly blowing snow.
Duluthian Bill Walls says he is very thankful that this blizzard featured a light, fluffy snow.
Yeah, shoveling wasn't bad. We had 2 snow blowers, but one of them broke yesterday, or the day before or something like that when we were doing the backyard, and then the other one broke today, so we ended up shoveling most of it.
For those who decided to play in the snow, this blizzard couldn't have came at a better time.
Yesterday was our first day of Christmas break.
And the fresh blanket of snow made for perfect sledding conditions.
I'm just happy that now we got a big blizzard because I love to sled.
Lydia Schiff from Superior likes sliding down the snowy hills of Central Park, while fellow sledder Tommy Tamarelli likes to be a little more wild.
My favorite part is when you crash into something or you have to go overboard because then you're covered in snow.
With sledding conditions like these, even those who don't love the cold were happy to see the snow just in time for the holiday.
And we love it here. I mean, yes, I'm a summer guy, but I'll take this type of city any day of the week as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that looked like a lot of fun. The sledding, not the shoveling. The kids out sledding today told us the only thing that could have made the day better was if it wasn't so cold out. Last night's storm caused chaos on the roads in Minnesota. The State Patrol reported 59 crashes between 9 last night and 6 this morning. 4 of those resulted in injuries. About 150 cars spun out and 8 semis jackknifed. No deaths were reported. On a road to 0 deaths, that's the goal of Minnesota's newly established Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women's Task Force, signed into law by Governor Tim Walz last year. Since then, the members have been at work analyzing data and working toward a solution to protect Indigenous women. Indigenous women and girls are far more likely to experience violence or be murdered than any other group in Minnesota. Sheila Lamb knows that well. She's a Cloquet City councilor and was also on the state's task force. Lamb said the group's findings range from education to poverty to systematic racism.
One of the big things that we found out through community was the lack of community and individual education on things like sex trafficking and missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and young men.
Lamb says fixing a problem centuries old may take time, but members hope their recommendations are the first step in saving lives. The task force has submitted their recommendations to the legislature, who will decide if they'll be implemented. Tonight is the last night of our Rescue Christmas campaign and your last chance to support the Salvation Army. The Red Kettle campaign ends tonight. If you missed your chance to give in person, it's not too late. You can still donate online. All the money stays local. The Duluth Salvation Army's goal this year is $215,000, and we just learned they surpassed that goal already, raising more than $223,000 so far. So those who donated, good job in reaching that goal. The money will go to support many programs, from housing assistance to daily hot lunches. And in this season of giving, a Duluth staple is getting a big present. The Duluth Library Foundation received $30,000 from an anonymous donor. The donor asks for the money to go towards buying books and adapting to future challenges. Foundation leaders were very thankful, as the library has had its share of obstacles this year.
It will be added to the foundation endowment, which guarantees that next year and in all years to come, that the library will have the support it needs, the extra support it needs to make more programs, more books available to the community, and that it can continue to adapt as new challenges emerge.
For more information on how to donate to the Duluth Library Foundation, you can head on over to our website, CBS3Duluth.com. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, many Northlanders like the cold. Learn how some fourth grade students are embracing the elements and learning outside.
Normal temperatures this time of year are 20 for the high, 4 for the low. We were colder than that on both counts here today. We'll start colder than normal tomorrow, but we could finish at least fairly close to normal. Is that a trend or just a one-day affair? We'll show you the temperature trends for the next week coming up, and we'll also talk about snow chances that may be coming our way after we shake off the snow still lingering today.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS 3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health cardiologists Kalkadan Bishu and Kimberly Boddicker talk about the Mitra Clip, a transformative technology that treats congestive heart failure in a minimally invasive way.
The Mitra Clip is a small device that is used to treat a leaky valve in the heart.
It is placed inside via a catheter, so no open incisions. The catheter goes up to the heart, and then basically the clip pulls the two leaflets of the valve together.
Really, its job is to hold the two mitral valve leaflets together and keep blood flow going in the wrong direction, backwards into the left atrium and then the lungs.
Symptoms of severe leakiness include increased fluid retention, bloated bellies, swollen legs, problems sleeping, shortness of breath, and irregular heartbeat and fatigue.
So by getting rid of this leakage, we can improve the pressure within the left atrium and within the blood vessels inside the lungs, and thus improve shortness of breath symptoms. So the goal is to improve symptoms, and with improvement in symptoms, patients are able to do more and thus improve quality of life.
Oftentimes, we can see a result while we're still in the lab doing the procedure. So people who are sick enough to require the mitral clip, a lot of their blood flow is going backwards every time the heart squeezes, even though it's supposed to be going forwards. And so we measure that real time by blood pressure monitoring, by other catheters in the heart. And oftentimes, as soon as we close that, their blood pressure improves, and we can tell that the fluid levels or the blood levels are moving in the right direction.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medicalinsight.
I researched very well, and I chose Heritage Window and Door. They install the windows, take the old windows out. They had a good reputation. Plus, they had renewal by Anderson. My window consultant was Jerry, and he was so patient and kind, and he wasn't pushy about buying them. Just did whatever I asked for. The installation team was Matt and Bill, and they were just fabulous. If I wasn't here, I would never have known they'd been here. It was perfect. Life's better at the lake, and it's even better with my new windows from Renewal by Anderson from Heritage Window and Door.
It is the question that matters the most.
¿Dónde está?
That takes you behind the story.
Robert.
It drives everything we do. It is the foundation of trust.
Who did all of this?
And the truth that propels us forward.
What did you make of that?
It is the question. One word, 3 letters long. And without it, our purpose,
that's news,
and our freedom fade. This is why.
CBS3 News is brought to you by Fond du Duluth Casino. CBS3 Weather is brought to you by Heritage Window and Door. Now, the CBS3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Yesterday and today's snowstorm is not quite done for every zone, so Ironwood in the snow belt now taking the top prize for biggest snow total so far, 14 inches. And folks in the snow belt still looking at a winter storm warning until midnight. Tonight, a little more snow possible there. Grand Rapids, Minnesota on the other side of our region didn't do too badly either for the snow fans, 10 inches. Then Lake Nebagaman, 8. Duluth over the hill as well, 8 inches. Knife River, 6. South Range, 5. Webster and Solon Springs both coming in with 4 inches. This may not be the last snow this week. We've got a slight light snow chance coming around now as early as Sunday, and something a little bit bigger, at least in theory, could be with us by next Wednesday. We'll show you all that with the 7-day forecast. Right now, here's a live look at what's going on in Ashland, where folks there are still facing that winter storm warning until about midnight tonight, but it doesn't look too bad right now. We're not seeing the wind really whipping or snow coming down, whiting things out, but on the ground, the snow is pretty thick. So folks do have to travel cautiously in that neck of the woods because the road crews are still trying to catch up with what's going on. Here's what's going on at the airport right now. 3 below the current temp, 65% for the relative humidity. North-northwest winds going 14 miles per hour, which is fairly gusty, yes, but it isn't up into the 30s and 40s like yesterday with gusts hitting 70 miles per hour. So things have settled down just a bit. Air pressure's on the high side now at 30.13 inches of mercury. Arctic high pressure's coming in to clear us up and chill us down for our Christmas holiday. Current temps in the Upper Peninsula run from 6 to 9 above, and in Wisconsin we're still tenuously above 0, from 0 in Solon Springs to 9 in La Pointe, but Minnesota numbers now pretty much across the board are going down below 0 by at least a few degrees. Right by the lake in Grand Marais at 2 above. Lows tonight could get as cold as 15 below in northern Minnesota and roughly around 0 or so for Wisconsin and Michigan, but by tomorrow afternoon will bounce back at least a little bit towards normal. Doppler map right now shows the higher pressure keeping things pretty calm in Minnesota, calm but cool in Wisconsin and Michigan. Like I mentioned, there's still a chance for a little more snow here on the South Shore because that snow warning is going on till midnight tonight. Not too bad right now, but just keep in mind you still have some troubles for a few more hours. Then tomorrow, it should be cooler, but not so bad, really. Cooler conditions for the first half of the weekend. High pressure makes it cooler but sunnier through Saturday. By Sunday, though, that next low pressure system brings us a 30% chance for flurries. Not that big of a deal. But like I mentioned, there's another chance of snow coming around by next Wednesday or so. We'll show that to you now. But first, tonight in Minnesota, partly cloudy sky. Lows 15 below to about 3 below. Wisconsin, Michigan, 10 below inland to about 0 by the lake, with South Shore snow still possible till midnight. For tomorrow should become partly cloudy for Wisconsin and the UP with high temps near 20. 20 is the normal. For Minnesota, pretty close, 15 to 20 with a partly cloudy sky. And there we go on Sunday, 30% chance for some flurries. Another little bit of a cool down below 0 for Monday, John. Then we get into next Wednesday and Thursday. The latest charts indicate a 40% chance for snow. And, of course, being so far out, it's still up in the air how much we're going to get. Will it be just a little? Will it be another big deal? We'll keep an eye on it, of course. We vow to track it as it gets here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, all I want for Christmas is no big storm again. Proctor students are learning outside this year. Well, sort of. Mr. Maron's 4th grade classroom at Pike Lake Elementary is taking on a phenology class, meaning they spend time outdoors studying nature, climate, and animal life. Though most classes are now virtual, Mr. Maron's class is still managing to get outside. They log what they see, the time, and temperature, all in a journal. Some students even bring along their whole family with them. Mr. Maron says this type of learning sparks students' curiosity and inspires them to want to learn in other classes.
If you have one subject that the kids are really desiring to work hard on, I've seen it over the years translate into other classes.
Students also prepare a radio broadcast that is aired on KAXE Radio in Grand Rapids. Ahead in sports, the Vikings gear up for their first Christmas game in 15 years. Plus, the Packers prepare to face a tough test in the Titans. Previews of both games coming up with Neil Viersba right after the break.
Outfit your Can-Am with a plow from Duluth Lawn and Sport.
To stay up to date with the news and weather that impacts you and your community, continue watching CBS3. CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. You can meet with an InventHelp representative who'll keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. And InventHelp's databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to review new ideas. Take action and get the help you need from InventHelp.
800-458-9565.
This year, Santa's got his naughty, nice, and now his shop local list. With a unique variety of shops and restaurants, there's something for everyone at Fitkers. And for business or leisure, Fitkers Inn is Duluth's premier lakefront getaway. Fitkers. Shop, eat, sleep.
We insure your car because some people never learn to park. That's simple human sense.
Ask J3 Insurance in Duluth if auto owners make sense for you.
Keeping yourself and your family safe from germs and bacteria is made easy with Cetus ultraviolet technology for sterilization. Through time-tested ultraviolet irradiation, killing 99% of dangerous microbes is simple and effortless. UV light technology is faster and more reliable than water-based disinfectants. Now easier than ever to live germ-free. Visit www.cetusonline.com. That is CETUSonline.com.
This is a special announcement from Prime Appliance. Black November pricing will continue the entire month of December. Prime Appliance knows it's been a rough year. To make it a little bit better, our gift to you is Black November pricing all through the entire month of December. If you need appliances, now is the time. All washers and dryers, ranges, freezers, refrigerators, microwaves, dishwashers, 4-piece kitchen suites, everything has Black November pricing. Financing always available. You can take it home today or you can let the pros deliver it to you. Prime Appliance is the only place to buy your appliances. Come in and let us prove it to you.
For months, we've all done our best to stay safe. But to remain safe in the long run, it's up to us all to take actions that don't just slow the spread of COVID, but collectively overcome it. Like getting a test if you have any symptoms, answering if your health department calls, and wearing a mask in public spaces. We all want to regain what we love in life. To get there, we all need to go forward and do our part.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Caitlin Moffitt this morning.
And the below average trend
Thanks so much for joining us. So wake up with us starting at 5 a.m.
Watch Caitlin and Jenna in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m. on CBS3. Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS3.
For the fourth time in franchise history, the Minnesota Vikings will play on Christmas Day, but Santa's big day hasn't been so jolly for the team as Minnesota has posted a 1-2 record. Their last win on Christmas came in 1989 when they defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 29-21 in the first ever regular season game on Christmas Day in NFL history. And their last appearance was 15 years ago when they fell to the Baltimore Ravens 30-23. This year, the Vikings match up with the 10-4 New Orleans Saints, a team that Mike Zimmer says has talent all over the board.
You know, Sean does such a great job with mixing the personnel groups and the plays and the same looks off the same plays, you know, which adds to Drew. You know, I think those two have a really good, I don't know if it's a marriage, but, you know, they work really well together. And, you know, and obviously they got Kamara and they got a bunch of good tight ends, good receivers.
The final injury report for the game came out today, and the Vikings will be thin at the linebacker position as Eric Kendricks remains out with a calf injury. Linebacker Troy Dye will also be out, as will tight end Kyle Rudolph and running back Alexander Madison. Fullback C.J. Ham is listed as questionable with a quad injury. As weird as it sounds, Packer fans will definitely be pulling for the Vikings tomorrow. A Saints loss clinches the 1 seed for Green Bay in the NFC playoffs. Either that or a Green Bay win over the Tennessee Titans Titans on Sunday Night Football will do the trick, which could be a daunting task. The Packers have had trouble with elite running backs this season, like Ronald Jones, Dalvin Cook, and Alvin Kamara. This week, they'll have to deal with Titans workhorse Derrick Henry.
If we get in a situation to where it's an open field tackle, first guy just got to shoot his gun, and teammates got to rally around him. If one guy can't get him down, we all got to swarm to the ball.
And you really got to try to do a good job of taking the distance out. When he gets the ball outside, you got to squeeze that distance down so he can't have a lot of space to operate in. Because if he gets a lot of space, it's tough sledding.
The Bucs will also be in action tomorrow afternoon, looking for redemption after their loss to the Celtics yesterday. It's the third straight year that the Bucs will be featured on Christmas Day after being passed over for 41 straight years. They lost to the 76ers last year, but beat the Knicks in 2018. This year, though, will be the first time they'll host a Christmas Day game since their expansion back in 1968. And I know someone who's going to be tuning into that game because we got a Bay Area member right here, John Cardinelli, his Warriors taking on the Bucs. So you can enjoy that. Well, you have some Christmas cookies and all the goodies.
I'll be eating my Christmas cookies, watching the game. Hopefully Giannis misses some free throws tomorrow. Sorry to the Bucs fans. All right, thanks, Neil. Santa Claus's magical powers are literally out of this world. He doesn't just drop off gifts to the world's children in one night, but he even makes it to space. Take a look here. Here's Santa finding some time in his busy schedule to stop by the International Space Station. As we all know, the North American Aerospace Defense Command tracks Santa's activity at Christmas. NORAD and Analytical Graphics Incorporated have released a video of jolly old St. Nick paying the astronauts a visit. Santa's flyby comes in time for Christmas during the station's 20th anniversary year of crewed missions. What do you think about that, Dave?
20 years worth of crewed missions. Not that they're rough crewed, but, a crew up there on the space station. Well, hopefully they're watching our storm system for us from a nice safe distance, because it's not quite done for our area yet. Till midnight tonight, folks in the snow belt still have a chance for a little more snow, and hence a winter storm warning in effect until that time. But higher pressure taking over the entire region should make Christmas Day on the sunnier side. We'll start pretty chilly from 10 to 15 below for a lot of towns, but finish at 17 above, which is very close to the normal of 20, and that's what we should achieve on Saturday. There's a slight chance for an Alberta Clipper to bring a couple flurries on Sunday, followed by another little Arctic outbreak on Monday. What we're eyeing up right now is the potential of another low-pressure system by midweek next week. Still don't know how big it's going to be, but we will keep an eye on it.
All right, thanks, Dave. That's the news for now. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back here tonight at 10.